here in Mexico, I feel there's an obsession like to be always fast and like to do this big rise and then like
People are like, wait,
like
give it to me.
There's anxiety for it. There's anxiety for it. Like you were telling me about it the other day.
I have
like
always had
drop
that.
it. You have to drop it.
Come on.
There's this need of
of the drop.
Of the drop.
Anxiety for the drop.
Yeah.
and I feel like here in Mexico we're used to going out to get drunk, to meet people, to hang out.
Yeah.
But in some places, like people go there like to relax and to listen to music. Like they don't care. Like they just go there and dance.
Yeah.
They let it walk.
The drinking and the drugs and all that stuff. It's something that comes after good music.
Yeah.
Well, that's really cool because I feel like in a way, probably in outside Mexico you have this possibility of throwing new stuff, weird stuff, your stuff, whatever that is, right off the bat, and maybe you in here you need to win them over. You know, you need to get them there with you. You know.
Maybe you're right. Maybe you need to reel them in. Like,
It's like, come on, baby.
Yeah, definitely.
You know? And then after that, you're like, okay, now you're with me. Let me show you.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, and that's so cool. No, at the end, it's really cool because they become your accomplice. Hello and welcome to a new episode of Behind the Decks with Sus and So. We're here joined by an amazing artist, somebody that is from Guadalajara, but that has had an amazing career basically all over the world. Mufti, thank you so much for being here with us.
Thank you.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah.
Happy to be here.
Super great, my friend. For those that don't know, Mufti is one half of Los Fugazi, which is an amazing DJ duo. And also in his own project, he has been, well, all over the world. We've been in New York, we've been in France, we've been all over Europe, we've been in Colombia.
Europe mainly, Colombia, and US, basically.
Amazing, my friend, and thank you so much. I mean, you are such a talented person in terms of not only just like selecting amazing tracks that get people dancing, but also you play many instruments. You play guitar, bass, piano, drums. Dude, come on. What can't you do? Come on.
Oh, many things. I can't do a lot of things.
Susie, you met Mufti a long time ago, didn't you?
Yeah. It was in my first 6 months that I was here.
6 months you were.
I was here with Russo and Dakota.
Yeah.
At your studio house.
Yeah, they're
Creative
friends of mine.
Space.
Studio, space, house, everything.
I was so stoned.
Yeah.
That's what, because of them, I stopped smoking. No, it was so. And you guys were in the studio, like making music and stuff, and it was really cool.
Russo and Dakota were starting their label called La Volta Rosa, and they were like putting it together and stuff. So I, along with Stuardo, we were doing Los Fugazi music. And we're doing like our first releases, and so they wanted us to have a release in their label. So we are constantly hanging around with them.
Right.
Yeah.
So,
That's pretty cool. That's awesome. And you know, it is really important for DJs nowadays. Don't. I would say that they don't realize, especially when they're starting, how important it is to release music. You know, to get themselves into the studio and actually do the work and getting that
it's funny, like I had this conversation before, like, do you have to be a producer now to be a successful DJ? Like, it's two different things. Why should you be both, right? Like, what is your take on that?
I think nowadays it's important to be also a DJ and a producer. Like, it helps a lot to get you a lot of gigs and a lot of attention to you. It brings a lot of attention to you. Because if you want to be only a DJ nowadays, I feel it's more important to be present in social media instead of like real talent nowadays.
Yeah.
So if you do your own music, you produce people, you have your own releases, like you don't have to be so good in social media to people like look at your way and say, okay, this guy is good.
Yeah.
Like, So that's basically what I think is like the most important thing, like to that helps to get you more stuff. But in another hand, of course, you can be a super talented DJ, and if you have like the right contacts and everything, you can play everywhere.
Yeah, no, I agree with you on that, but I don't think you first of all call yourself a DJ. I would say you're first of all a musician. I would say no.
Yeah, in my case, yeah, because well, since I was young, I started like playing progressive metal and that kind of stuff, like in guitar. So I went into the into the electronic music scene later on. So yeah, at the beginning I saw myself more like a musician instead of a DJ. But then I liked it also. So it's really fun, like to play with the crowd, to play tracks you like, and the people dance to it.
Do you think it's stronger? Do you think it's stronger when you're like behind the decks playing for that crowd, or when you're in a band doing your thing? Is it like the attention that is directed to you?
I honestly have never been in a professional band or have never done a live act like professionally. So I couldn't be able to compare it properly.
Right.
Like to the, I think it might be pretty similar in terms of, because DJing like in a small crowd is really special. You have this connection to everyone, and if you're paying attention, like you can be like just playing your tracks, but if you're paying attention to the people, like you have a really special connection, and it's a vibe.
Yeah,
like
it's a whole vibe. Yeah, for sure.
Let's talk a little bit about how did you start that transition, because it doesn't I would say feel that far off from somebody like, for example, Damon G, who is your friend, by the way.
Yeah.
He told us that he started listening to rock music and to different kinds of music that wasn't necessarily electronic, and then little by little he started getting there.
Yeah, he played it, right? He was in a rock band, punk band, yeah.
Yeah, and how did it go for you? Like,
how did it start?
Yeah.
I think it started with me going to parties with friends, like, and being like, this is cool, like, okay, it doesn't have to be like heavy so for me to like it.
Yeah.
And then, like partying, and then suddenly I started, like, I had this iPod, like the big ones, remember?
The 1 giga.
Yeah, the big ones, black one. Yeah. So it was full of music, like all kinds of music, and a lot of electronic, a lot of shitty music, a lot of cool music, like everything in between. And so I started to take it on parties, and a lot of friends were like, "Hey, Bernie, do you have your iPod? Like, connect yourself to the speaker, like." Put your iPod, your playlist, whatever. And so I started to put it in this playlist, and suddenly, like, joking around, some friends told me, like, why don't you become a DJ? Like, you would be good. And I was like, maybe.
Why not?
Like, and the weird thing is I already had downloaded, like cracked in, like, the Reason to my, so I didn't know shit how to use it, but I was like,
it was there.
But I liked,
the
like,
wish
the idea.
was
Yeah.
there.
And then I bought like this small controller and started to
play around with it.
Yeah, play around in my house with it. And suddenly, like, a friend, I used to do some parties at my house with friends, like. So I started playing tracks, and suddenly one was like, "Hey, this is so cool!" Like, I'm working at a small, like, sport bar. I don't remember the name, but it was near Andares, near, and so that was my first gig, like a sport bar, like play some tunes, and then after that, like, it was really fast. Suddenly, I had a gig in a place called Attico that was just open for a short time, and then
What's that again?
in front of King.
Oh.
And
on the other street?
On the other side of the street.
Yeah.
And then
Sounds so
it closed, and they opened King later.
Ah,
And then I started playing King.
Right.
Yes.
And then
Yeah.
And then
And they
you
had
took off.
Yeah, it started.
The rest is history.
Yeah. Okay. So I see that there's like a very nice transition between, you know, just like I like music, I like partying. I'm learning the ropes of just like not even the ropes, just like the vibe of what you like in terms of electronic music, and I guess that developed into what now is your characteristic sound. No,
Yeah,
like how would you describe that?
it's not easy to find what you like what you really like, and how to express it. Like, I think it's the most difficult thing, and I actually think that I still haven't found it yet. Like, definitely, like, we're always on this.
Yeah, you're always evolving, right?
Yeah, it's. I think that's the goal, to be always
Yeah.
evolving, and but for me, I just was like, I used to listen to Depeche Mode with my dad. I used to listen like so many '80s kind of music, and then I started to listen like heavy stuff, like metal and progressive and different kind of music. So I just like took all the things I liked, and just when I'm doing a track, I just like, I like this kind of sound, I do it. I like this kind of thing, I do it. But I never like get a track and try to copy it. I never do that. I like just like looking into yourself and asking, do I like this sound? No, I would love like it more raw or more.
Right.
Yeah.
Or
So
more
that's-
compressed, or maybe a little bit kind of more 80s or more progressive.
and also what I do is like, I have certain kind of synths I like how they sound, so I'm like, okay, I'm going to use this same synth to do a different kind of sound, but it gives you that certain vibe, so it doesn't fall too
far
apart,
from what
too
you
far from so I can do maybe a more house or kind of ravey track, like acid.
How would you describe, like, really, if somebody asks you right now, like, describe your sound? Because I remember, like, listening to you way back was really dark disco and indie dance.
Yeah.
But I haven't heard you play for ages, so.
Many people would say it's in the same direction, but like, if you're into music, you could see that I'm into the synth wave, like new wave,
Yeah.
and like kind of post-punk influences.
Yeah, it's still that stem, right?
It's that
Same feeling.
Yeah, that same feeling, and but like right now I've been doing tracks like really different kind of vibes, but still sound pretty similar. It's weird.
Yeah.
Like, you can say, okay, this track is this guy. Like,
right. It's Mufti, even though it might be from a different, I would say, genre.
yeah,
But it's still Mufti because it's
Yeah.
still your sound.
Still hear that.
At the end, as an artist, you always want to look for a little bit of a signature. You know, you want to be identified.
yeah.
Well, you have it too. Like of course, you have it with singers because you hear who is the singer.
Yeah.
But for example, my dad is like totally jazz. Is a jazz musician and is totally into jazz. So if my dad can hear from somebody playing the piano, somebody saxophone or whatever, he can hear which artist it is or drummer. You know, like for me, that's really hard. But I think
it's crazy.
everybody has. You know, their juice, their juice, their jizz, their juice all over it.
I hope it's Jules, not the other one.
Not the other one. Their jizz all over it. Well, maybe you have your jizz all over
Well,
it.
I'm not gonna get
Sometimes you
into that right now. My friend, how do you feel about playing in Mexico and playing in other different countries? I mean, you just went to New York, and that's probably a different vibe totally from what it is to play at Bar Americas, for example, or Casa Cobra.
Yeah, it's similar in many ways, but different in many others. So, like, the main difference I feel is like, here in Mexico, there's I feel, maybe I'm wrong, I feel there's an obsession like to be always fast and like and super like how do you call how do you say it?
Yeah.
Like to
I think
do
I
like the
understand
big,
what you're trying to say.
like to do this big rise and then like
Yeah. People are like, wait,
you know, yeah, like
give
Yeah,
it to me. And
there's
then when
anxiety for it.
doesn't come,
There's anxiety for it.
there's
Like you were
anxiety.
telling me about it the other day.
I
Yeah,
have
like
always
the
had
drop
that.
it. You have to drop it.
Yeah,
Like,
come on.
there's this need of
of the drop.
of
the drop. Yeah.
Anxiety for the drop.
Yeah.
and I feel like I think it's because maybe it's my interpretation.
Yeah.
I feel like here in Mexico we're used to going out to get drunk, to meet people, to hang out,
Yeah.
and I mean everywhere. But in some places, like especially like specialized music places in different countries, people go there like to relax and to listen to music. Like they don't care. Like they just go there and dance.
Yeah,
They let it walk.
The drinking and the drugs and all that stuff. It's something that comes after good music.
Yeah.
Like I go out to listen to music and
They
to
can
dance.
do everything same as here.
Yeah.
But their focus is like to listen to whatever you want to play, and then like.
Does
if
that
they
make it a little bit
meet
easier?
someone cool, is that?
Does that make it a little bit easier for the DJ to release whatever it is that you want to release in your set?
It might be more natural. Like you're not looking for this big drop or like this
That energy.
yeah.
Yeah, like
There
I
has to
have
be energy.
do
There has to
something.
be a lot of energy all the time, like for people to have fun. If not, even if they're just paying attention to your music, they'll be like bored within some like 30 minutes. They'll be like, okay, it's the same all over. So
Yeah. You have to offer something.
yeah, there has to be something, of course.
But even if you go to Sayulita and you played for a big crowd of people that came for holidays, that's already different. That's already a totally different. That's already a different vibe. Sometimes.
You're right. It's funny because I don't know if it's that way. Like you said, it's the way I interpret it. No, sometimes I feel like there's people that are they really demand this sort of drops and things. You know, the build-ups, the big build-up, and then just that release. No.
Yeah. And don't get me wrong. I mean, play here in Mexico, and the energy is really
it's amazing.
Cool. And sometimes it's even better, like a lot better than many other places because of the same energy of people. They're like eager, like to have fun, and so sometimes the connection is pretty wild.
It's really strong,
yeah. Even if you're like wanted to present something weirder, like you may not be able to do that, but if you manage the crowd correctly, you might have
that
one
choice,
of the best
that opportunity.
nights you play. Yeah.
Well, that's really cool because I feel like in a way, probably outside Mexico you have this possibility of throwing new stuff, weird stuff, your stuff, whatever that is, right off the bat, and maybe you need to win them over. You know, you need to get them there with you. You know.
Maybe you're right. Maybe you need to reel them in. Like,
it's like, come on, baby.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, and then after that, you're like, okay, now you're with me. Let me show you.
Yeah.
Definitely, definitely.
Yeah, and that's so cool. No, at the end, it's really cool because they become your accomplice.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
it's so nice. No,
It's a different kind of challenge.
Yeah.
It's cool.
But how is it though that you create that type of music? Because obviously you're influenced by the scene while you're making your music.
Yeah, totally.
How do you put that into the mix when you're creating your tracks, my friend?
Well, for me, it's always easier to do tracks when I play constantly. When I play a lot, it's easier. Like the
It flows.
ideas, yeah, of course. And for me, there's this thing I like to do when I start. Like I don't know what track what idea to start on or whatever. I like play a track. I DJ it somewhere and I'm listening to it, and I'm just by listening to it like start humming like an idea that I would like to mix after that.
Wow.
And then I'm humming it, and then I'm like, okay, open up Ableton, and then start doing the idea, and then like, okay, after this, let's go.
That's a nice way of attacking.
It's and normally you get this kind of like a good bass, like a good hook that can.
Well, that is super interesting because I mean we've talked to several producers in the podcast, and they obviously everybody has their own way of tackling the task of creating a new track. No, I don't think we've heard that before.
No, and isn't it cool? Like everybody who we speak to has like their own ways of
like
going
for example,
into the process.
Drome, he looks at it like it's a job, you know. And it's like wake up, make yourself some coffee, and get on the studio and pull out stuff, no. And today you're gonna do basses. Today you're gonna make kicks. Today you're gonna do, this or that, no.
And then you have Ayrton, who
Yeah.
is like totally different. Like he gets like somebody who orders a track, and he has to be like poof from the top of his head.
Yeah.
Okay, let's make reggaeton today, and then floop.
Yeah, it happens to me also a little. The people they approach me and I have to do like ghost producer jobs.
Of course.
And it's a little bit different because they're like, oh, okay, I want to sound like this and this and that and that and that. Normally there's a lot of references.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, and then you have to do it from
Pick and
scratch.
choose and
But for my stuff, I like to do that. Like,
that is super cool. Because at the end, we go back to the sound that you're looking for, no? Because at the end of the day, it's also a quest for you to find and refine yourself every time. And you start playing, and then you feel like it's a moment of I would say it's inspiration when you start humming that song, no?
Definitely.
And we all have that, no? In our own ways. I feel like you would be looking for that perfect thing that comes next, no?
yeah, and of course, and if you think about it, everyone will do it differently. Like everyone will start maybe humming a different rhythm or like a percussion or whatever. Like everyone has their approach. Yeah. For me, it's normally like a bass line or like this kind of low mid sound. Like,
Okay. Yeah. That's the first.
Yeah, the first like to get me.
What do you think? I mean, in terms of what you start getting towards, it's this low part of maybe a track, a future track, no, that hasn't happened yet, no. But when you listen to your favorite stuff, probably you've heard 1,000, 1,000,000 tracks, What is it that gets you?
Like my favorite music, like of other artists.
Yes, like everything.
What's the? Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah, the thing that floats your boat.
I think it's like a mixture between the bass, like the bass line is very important for me, and for it to be like to be going and answering itself like in different kind of instruments.
Like you have one and then you get their answer.
And normally I like sad and depressive stuff. Yeah.
I need to feel pain.
Yeah, it's like kind of Nine Inch Nails and stuff like that. Super.
Isn't it funny that sometimes like the most upbeat people also have this a preference for their dark stuff?
Is that true?
I feel like that happens a lot with artists, for example.
You don't have it.
I have it. I personally have it. Like, like my whole thing. Like, okay, so I am a very upbeat person, But for example, I really like it might be outside of electronic music, but I really like Sufjan Stevens. The guy that made the soundtrack for Call Me by Your Name. That is like super.
Oh wow!
Super acoustic, and I wanna cut my veins, a little bit. It's like, oh come on, make me cry, no. But I think that happens a lot, and even there's a lot of artists that take that route too. They seem to be very happy people, but they're when you listen to the actual lyrics of the track or things like that, it's pretty sad or pretty melancholic.
Yeah, I feel it has to do with the connection it makes. Like that you see something of yourself there, like, and you like that you don't show to everyone. So you feel this kind of special connection.
Yeah. It's a little bit like the answer that you're looking for in that baseline, don't you think?
Yeah.
It's like you get something and you get like that. Okay, I'm getting there. No, I give you something and I get back from the art that I want to get, you know, or that I'm more attracted to as well. There's beauty in sadness.
Yeah.
Yeah. So of all the places that you have been lately, is there any highlights that you think like, ooh, I want to share this with you guys, or an anecdote or something
Like the place
that you've played lately?
in June when I was in New York, the whole weekend was amazing. Like the friends that took me there, they're really good friends, and they took me all around. We had a lot of fun.
It's nice.
So nice.
Ate so delicious. Like everything was perfect, and the venues were amazing. It was really cool. Like I've been to New York before, but in a super touristic kind of travel.
But when you are with your people,
like
it's so
family,
different.
touristic, like Empire State, okay.
Yeah, okay.
And this time it was like
The real New York.
nightlife, local stuff. Yeah, fun.
Nice.
And
That is nice.
the venues were like crazy. Like there's a venue called I played at Outer Heaven. It's kind of new. It's in Manhattan.
I heard about it.
Yeah, it's really cool. And the other one was Night Moves.
Okay.
Night Moves is a really cool, small speakeasy, like a kind of 70s inspired disco cafe. It's really
cool name
Yeah,
also, yeah.
yeah. And Saturday I played at Le Ban. Le Ban is the club of the Sandar Hotel. So it was really cool. Like
But that's fancy.
fancy stuff.
That's fancy shit. Come
No,
on.
but super fun. Super,
Nice.
like they do so many good parties there, and
did
the
you
club
find
is
it-
kind of crazy. Like in the rooftop, and the view is amazing, and they have a pool inside the club, so it's like
Nice.
gets a little bit wild. Yeah.
Yeah, that's nice.
That's so cool.
Yeah. Did you find it that there was like sometimes there's like this stereotype of that rich clubs might be a little bit more uptight, you know, because you want to preserve the appearance.
That depends.
But, but I've
Then they go
noticed
crazy.
that they can be really wild
Wow,
too.
it gets
And
wild.
I think it also depends in the level of richness.
Yes.
It's just the higher it gets wilder.
Yeah, of course. It's like if you're really,
they
really
don't
rich.
have to pretend nothing.
Yeah,
you know?
they know.
It's
If you're inside, you're inside.
yeah,
you know.
exactly. Yeah.
It's like the room behind the room.
Yeah.
You know, it's like when I come to the room and
Yeah.
you know, like there's a room behind that room and there's like
That's
the presidential, I call it. You know.
the presidential area.
yeah.
Yeah, it's fucking cool. I mean, it's funny because I think that first of all, every city has their own vibe, no, their own
Definitely.
personal vibe. But then different clubs, different place, you know, especially a place like New York that you have like, you know, Brooklyn and then you have Manhattan that are like super different in terms of their vibe, no? Or for example, in San Francisco, no, you have these different types of people coming to different places, and you can tell by the drinks. You know, like some people are just like having beers, and then you have martinis, and then you have Negronis, and then you know it gets more expensive and more expensive, no?
Yeah.
But I think like the whole vibe, you know, the music, the drink, the people, the area, you know, all the context gives you like an idea of what you're gonna play, no? And that scenario I find so amusing because when you've never been there, it's a challenge, don't you think?
It's a challenge. Yeah, definitely. But I think the smartest thing to do is to be early at the club, like to catch the vibe of the place and understand it.
Yeah.
But if you're like, which has happened to me, like to be like 10 minutes before the DJ, and you there like you start playing, but then you're like a little bit off.
Yeah.
So it's important, I think, to be early if you can.
Yeah.
Because if you're traveling all over, and there's sometimes that you have to rest. Like, you can.
It happened to me with. There was the first time that the Martinez brothers came to Bar Americas. We played at a little party before that, and they came and everything, and it was really cool. And they played a little bit, and it was really nice. And they're really cool people, but right after that they were like, we're fucking going to bed, like we're going to bed and we'll see you in 4 hours.
No. Of course, take your rest.
And they just came, they killed it, but it was I can see that, and at that time it was probably like 8 years ago, more or less, and I was just starting, and to me that was very surprising that you can just turn up right there and then and do their thing,
Yeah.
But you need it. You need it when you start traveling.
Yeah, you have to rest.
Yeah. My friend, do you think that there's like you've have a pretty long career with several countries on the back. Do you think where is the wildest party that you can remember that you've played?
The wildest party?
Yeah.
Good question. I'm thinking. There's been many, like, very cool parties. Like, maybe I'm gonna mention a few, like...
Top three. Do it top three.
Yeah.
Can you?
In Colombia,
okay,
this club called Caput. The venue is crazy. It's amazing. Caput is a room inside a venue this venue is called Ghetto Project, and it has like 7 different rooms with different music and different vibe each room. So you can imagine, like, the place is crazy. You get inside and you're going through hallways and finding different rooms and different vibes, and suddenly you get to Caput, which is more on my vibe, like more club, bit darker, and that's so. Yeah, that party was really cool. Yeah. And because of the guys over at Bogota, they're so cool. They're like good friends. Yeah.
So Caput at Bogota. Top 3.
This is top 3 for sure. Like, also, I played in Stuttgart.
Okay.
In Stuttgart.
Yeah.
So let's go Germany.
Yeah.
Stuttgart. Where in Stuttgart did you play?
In a really small club called Romantica. Romantica. It used to be a small strip club.
Okay.
But then they put a club there, and the venue is like 50 people, 60 people.
Small venue.
Small venue.
Small place.
But I played there one Thursday, not even like a
big day.
Weekend, big day. But there was like a big event. I think Armin van Buren played in the plaza, something like that. So there was a lot of people in the street. So it got wild. It got like pretty cool. Like the vibe was amazing. Everything was like perfect.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. So they're playing, sweating, like super. Everything smoky and a few lights, and I even took off my shirt. I was like,
fucking yeah. There you go.
Of course, I got a little bit drunk, so.
Yeah, of course.
So yeah.
How couldn't you?
Yeah, it was so fun.
Yeah.
Then I had to think about it because it's a small. Maybe it can be 4.
Sure. Let's do that. Yes.
I'd love to hear.
Then, of course, Berlin. I play in Renate.
Renate.
Yeah, so it was my first time in Berlin, so it's part of the experience. And this club has 3 rooms, and I played in a small one called Red Room. It's like you feel like you're inside of an apartment, like 3 different small rooms and a bar, but vibe perfect, like everything I played, I was like having fun, people having fun.
Renate is really
cool. 4 hours, like it was a good set, like from 4 a.m. to a.m.
I feel like that 4 hour set lets you really
It lets you do
get
something.
there.
Yeah,
You know?
it lets you.
Because 2 hour sets sometimes it doesn't they don't have you know
4 to 6 hours.
yeah I would say 4 hours is
Yeah,
like
four
at least
hours
for me
is-
it's
Yeah.
the nice spot to get there.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
And more like playing at 4 a.m. I started playing, and it was like the girl before me played really good, but it was all the time like this kind of dark disco vibes. So I was going to be on the same alley. So I was like, okay, how am I going to change this a bit? So I started like in the same vibe, and then like took it like really slow again. But everyone understood it and then brought it back up, and I
That's
was able to
nice.
do this like
Nice.
Yeah, like a little roller coaster.
yeah. So
Yeah.
it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, and this is something super cool because there's a lot of people that are not DJs that listen to the podcast, and most of the people I've talked about, they say like the night should go like this, and not really. It's kind of like, you know, it's just like a curve, and it takes you on a trip, and I would say it's like a roller coaster. Really, that's the funnest night, I would say.
Yeah, surfing the night, I always say. Yeah,
Surfing the night. That's
yeah,
a nice
surfing
concept.
the night. Yeah.
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 What?
And your last? No, I had four.
There's one that was missing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
one more.
Or, of course, Sunday in Mexico City. Amazing. It was.
Producto mexicano. Right?
Yeah. Yeah, Sunday was the time I played there almost 2 years ago, actually, like September. Yeah, beginning of September of 2 years ago. I played there a bit early, but the vibes were so good. Like, then a friend of mine played after, but we talked about it, and I did a shorter set, he did a shorter set, so we could do like a back-to-back after.
Ah, that's
So we
nice.
played back-to-back at the end, and we were like, it was like one of the best back-to-backs I've ever had.
Who was the friend?
Curses.
Curses.
Yeah, it's a friend from New York. He lives in Berlin. Yeah.
Ah.
Well, that already sounds really nice. Let me tell you.
Yeah,
Sunday with a friend from New York that lives in Berlin, in Mexico City, shorter sets and then a good back-to-back. Hey,
Yeah. And
give me more of that, eh?
yeah. And I've released a lot of tracks in his label, and so we're
What's his label?
Umbra International.
Umbra International. Okay, good.
So we did this really cool back-to-back, and the vibe was like,
It was there.
we actually ended, and we were like, this was great, and we had this crazy party afterwards.
That's fucking awesome.
It's good.
Yeah.
Like flying, right?
Yeah, that was.
Like what we spoke about with Hugo.
Yeah, that's super nice. It's just that moment when everything just clicks, and you get in the zone. And I'm gonna ask you that question. Like, other than that, have you felt any other place in the world, whether you're partying or whether you're playing, that something just clicked and it was like, okay, let's go. Wow. Let's fucking go.
Yeah, it's and what happens is like you remember it forever.
no?
Like it's yeah.
Yeah.
Well, when is the last time that you remember this happened?
This happened like everything was
Yeah, it was just like
everything connected.
it was an eargasm.
Yeah.
The last time,
Yeah.
definitely it was in New York. Of course, in Lebanon, everything was perfect. Yeah, that one definitely, and also the last time I played in Bar Oriente, I had a lot of fun.
Yeah,
It was like really fun.
that's awesome.
And I played like I did the closing set that normally I don't love to close. Like I don't love to be the one closing, because even if you're playing super cool, people are leaving.
already going. Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but if you can, if it's because they're going, like it's over, they have to go.
Yeah.
So that's the only thing I don't like about closing. But it was really cool.
At that time, that moment, it was
cool
perfect.
at the end. Like it was so. And when you finish, and a lot of people are like, "Hey, dude, thanks." It's really amazing. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, can be
That's
there.
great. That's awesome. I feel happy that you've had those experiences here in Mexico as well. You know, because I think that sometimes we ourselves, as Mexicans, probably we kind of do this idolatry of the places outside.
Yeah.
But there's really good party in Mexico as well. There's super amazing party in Mexico.
It's one of the countries with the best parties.
Yeah,
Everywhere.
we're
Like,
really
it
blessed. We're really blessed to be here because the parties are here are top notch. You know, when it happens, it fucking happens. You know.
I just feel like we ourselves as Mexicans have to appreciate more the Mexican artists.
Yeah.
Like, so that's the only thing I feel like. That's what I notice when I'm outside of Mexico and I get back. I'm like, okay, for me it's easier to find gigs outside of Mexico. Why?
Yeah, it's bizarre, huh? Yeah.
On that note, what would you say to the people that are just starting to get into the scene in terms of going to the parties? They just learned about Bar Americas, they just learned about funk, they just learned about Bar Oriente, you know, they just learned about these places where amazing people play, and they're just starting to learn about electronic music and starting to get a taste for it. What would you say to these people?
To the ones that want to do music or just like
Just party and be part of the
It's
scene and enjoy the scene and grow with that.
Just don't get like, don't become a fan only because they're from outside of Mexico. Like, listen to everyone's music and actually tell yourself, do I enjoy this? Like, okay, and this guy is Mexican, cool, so appreciate it.
Uh-huh.
That's
It
awesome.
doesn't have to be only
International people.
International people who get all the
Yeah.
yeah.
And there's a lot of Mexicans that are doing killer job, like crazy. So it's good. I think it's getting there, like, but
That's awesome.
slowly, like.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's definitely getting there.
Yeah, definitely.
There's a lot of young artists.
Yeah.
And a lot of young people going to parties. Like right now, I feel like we're doing this transition of people are getting older. And then there's just the new wave of electronic music
lovers and
enthusiasts.
artists.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
My friend, thank you so much for
Thank you for inviting.
For
staying
sharing
here.
with
Thank
us.
you. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, it was amazing. Thank you very much. I think we learned a lot from your journey, from the parties, and I think that we would love you to come back again to the podcast and,
Sure
and
thing.
see where you are.
It was fun.
there in the next couple of
Thanks.
seasons. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. For
Awesome.
Sure. Thank you, everybody. Thank you so much for being here again. And keep following us. Hit that subscribe button. Push the little bell thingy. We're uploading every week, and we love you. So love us back. And we keep sharing the vibe and the electronic music. What?
Yeah. See?
Can I put another word to it?
Yes.
I'm thinking vibes and love.
Excellent. Before we leave, Mufti, your social media.
You're so.
Mufti MX.
Mufti MX
Everywhere.
in every single platform. Thank you very much, guys. See you on the next beats. See you. Bye-bye.
Bye.